Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Mr. Hino with Mr. Hino's Lego Robotics. Today's video, I'm going to go through all of the suggestions from last week's Mr. Hino's broken motor video. I'll leave you the link at the end of this video to that one. But basically, to recap what the problem was with motor control, the motors work perfectly fine. But when I do just a simple program that involves both motors, so I'm just putting a forward on for 2 seconds. One motor goes really fast and the other motor doesn't go on at all. So what I'm going to do is go through all of your suggestions, and by the way, thank you for all of your suggestions. I'm going to go through each one and then test it on this robot to see what was the solution, or if there was one, okay? So you're going to have to stay with me. Somebody asked me to interchange the cables here, so I basically put the left motor into a port C and the right motor into port B and seeing if that works. So let's try that. No, we're still getting just that one motor going. Okay, so a lot of you made the suggestion, why don't I swap the BC ports to the AD ports? So I'm gonna go ahead and try that right now. Let's go to it. So I went ahead and just did a move tank block here, but I switched the ports to A and D. And here we go, let's check this out. Hey, voila, we have success there. And both motors look like they're going at the same speed. So beautiful job. Thank you to all of you guys that suggested that I just switch this to A and D. And yes, I'm gonna probably have to mark that just to make sure that if anybody uses this robot, they know that can't use B and C, but A and D works. So those of you that said switch to A and D, great job. And a lot of you mentioned that I should just try to update the firmware. So I'm gonna go ahead and update the firmware and we'll check out if B and C ports still work. So let's go to that. Okay, so I have my robot plugged in. I'm gonna go ahead and update the firmware. And I will be back with you as soon as this updates. Okay, so the firmware update was successful. And let's go ahead and try this program again. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have to switch this back now to B and C. So B, oops. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a shot now and see if this fixed the BC problem. We know the A and D problem works, but let's see if we can still do BC. Oh, I guess that would help if I plugged it into B and C. I'll be back. Okay, everybody, I'm back. Yeah, that was kind of a bonehead thing. Can't do B and C if I don't plug it into the ports. So they're plugged into the BC ports, and let's go ahead and give this another shot. Okay, so we're still having that same issue, even though the firmware has been updated. So at this moment, the A and D works. The firmware update did not work for those motors. Some of you even asked or suggested to do a reset on the brick. If you guys don't know how to do a reset, it's basically the back button, the middle, and the right button all at the same time. So let me go ahead and show you this. So the back, the middle, and the right buttons. And it's basically going to shut off and then shut back on again. So I'll go ahead and I'll be back when it comes on and we'll run the program again in B and C. Okay, so I've done the restart on the brick here, and I plugged everything back into BC. And I need to change it onto here. So this will be B. This will be, yeah, CB. And let's go ahead and test this out. So the reset did not do anything. We got that same issue again. So the restart or reset, nope, that didn't work for ports B and C. Okay guys, so there you have it. Thank you so much for all your suggestions. Man, I just ask a question and I just get boatloads of help. That's what the robotics community is all about, right? Well, I'm hope that this video is good for anybody else who might have that motor problem. So let's recap what the fix was. And thank you again for all of you guys that suggested this. If you have it plugged into BC, A and D worked and A and B worked. And I guess you're just gonna have to mark that on the motor or do something to just remind your students or remind yourself which ones actually work. So that way we don't have a wasted motor here. So great job everybody, you guys are awesome, okay? Hopefully that helped all of you that might have this motor issue or come across that. Thank you to everybody. Okay guys, I am Mr. Hino from Mr. Hino's Lego Robotics. I'm out.